The monies paid to investors who purchased cocoa bills that matured yesterday have been withdrawn from individual investors' accounts without their consent. Cocoa Board has issued the bills to raise funds. Many had bought the bills expecting to be paid back their monies with interest on Thursday. Now, Joy News understands the monies were actually paid on Thursday, only to be reversed on Friday. Banks have all day been under pressure from affected customers. The banks have pointed to a directive from the Bank of Ghana ordering them to unilaterally roll over the bonds without first seeking the consent of the investors. We have been speaking to one affected investor. Listen.
It's cocoa bill. So the short story is cocoa bill. It's matured yesterday, and when it's matured, the funds were deposited in the account. And I decided to go to the bank today. And when I went there today, the money had been taken out of the account. And when I asked, the tellers were not able to tell me anything. They just said that it's a directive that has come for all the funds to be automatically rolled over. And I was asking that, if money has come into an account, I have a contract with the account that money should be deposited in the account. I don't have any contract with the bank that money will be taken out of the account without my permission. And that has happened. Why should it happen? And they said there's a directive, and there's little they can tell me than to say that there was a directive that all the money should be rolled over automatically. And I was very surprised because we were told that T-bills were not going to be touched, and cocoa bills, if T-bills are not going to be touched, cocoa bills were even more safer because it's a cocoa bond instrument. So I was just shocked. So that's exactly what happened, and even the certificate for the rollover, I don't have it, and I don't know what I can even do about it, because it's something that I had planned. That I was going to pay my wife's school fees with, and now I don't even know how to even go and break the news to my wife, because I told her that it's going to happen, but it is what it is.
So when they said they've been instructed, the bank has been instructed to roll over, did they tell you to roll over till when?
6 months.
For the next 6 months?
Yes.
Which means that you're possibly expecting it in June, thereabout. July. So you invested in it 6 months back?
No, I invested in an instrument that was already running. So I invested in it for like 3 months. So I when I went to the bank, I told the bank that I can't wait for 6 months. So I need a running investment where it's left for 3 months to mature. So they just rolled me onto a running investment. So you realize I started in September, so it was supposed to mature in January. It's matured in January. But the original instrument that I was rolled onto was an instrument that was running for 6 months.
Okay. So as it stands now, money was taken out of your account without your consent, and then your investment was also unilaterally rolled over without your consent.
Exactly.
And all the bank can tell you is that they've been instructed to take the money out and roll over for the next 6 months.
Sure, and I was not notified. I didn't get any information. It just happened, and I'm shocked because I got an info that if you were able to withdraw your money like yesterday when it's matured and hit your account, you were safe, because even that you are not even really safe, but you can have your money, because when they try to roll it over automatically, yours will bounce. But the exact money that was put in an account, if it is in the account just a day, it has automatically been rolled over, and we actually don't know. I don't really know what to say.
I guess a big question. What do you intend to do now?
What do I intend to do? It's difficult, Evans. It's difficult. I actually don't know.
Well, that's a very heartbreaking story there, especially the angle of his wife's education being truncated now as a result of what is happening. Our head of political desk and editor here at Joy News, Evans Mensah, joins me in studio with more. Evans. So have we seen the bank account of this guy to really understand whether or not the money was paid?
Yeah, so if you look at the bank statement, so he goes to the bank, this was happening, he sees the money out, so he asks for a bank account to confirm, the statement to confirm what has happened. And we've seen a copy of that, and you will notice that on the 19th of January, which is yesterday, the money was paid, and the narration there is the redemption, the cocoa bills that was paid. And then a day after, which is today, 20th of January, the money had been debited. So there's credit, you see clearly stated on the statement, and then a day after, it's a debit. So that's a confirmation. And beyond that, we've now also heard from other customers who are having the same experience as well. Some of the monies were left in the account for more than 24 hours, actually. Some of them were taken out literally a couple of hours ago. And we're also learning that some customers actually withdrew the monies. And banks are now having to call them to say, return the monies that you've withdrawn, because we are under instructions now to return that money back to the Bank of Ghana.
What do we know more about this? How are they explaining the reason for those withdrawals?
So for this particular customer in question, who you had there, they say that when he pushed, the bank explained to him that this is a directive from the Bank of Ghana and that his investment has been rolled over without his permission. And he says he did not instruct the bank to roll over because he had invested this money so he can take it once matures to pay for the wife's school fees. So of course that is not an instruction he'd given to the bank. We also did an independent check to try and understand what was really happening. Now, two key things we learned. That one, apparently over the years, the Bank of Ghana, in each time the cocoa bills matured, the Bank of Ghana had paid on behalf of Cocoa Board. And the Bank of Ghana had decided that this time they wouldn't do it. And they then instructed Cocoa Board to say, you have fixed deposits with some of the banks, with banks in Ghana. Well, liquidate those fixed deposits and use that to take care of the maturing bills. The question then, what is curious to us is, if that's the case, why did the Bank of Ghana allow the funds to go into accounts before the reversal? And when did they realize that the Cocoa Board had fixed deposits that then triggered this reversal? So that's a bit of this that is confusing. As a result of what has happened today, as we reported, the entire day, banks have been under tremendous pressure from their customers. And the Bank of Ghana has called for an emergency meeting with MDs of all commercial banks in Ghana. We're not sure whether that meeting had ended, but it's been a marathon one indeed to try and resolve. As you can imagine, this is a major crisis because it's a panic situation. It affects individuals and customers of the banks who are realizing that monies that you saw in your account yesterday, that you went to sleep comfortable, that it's secure in your account.
That you get it today.
Get it today for your own, personal purposes. You wake up this morning, you still see it in your account. Later in the day, money disappears. You go to the bank, and the bank is saying, we are under instruction not to reverse the account. So there is understandably a lot of confusion. Now, initially, what happens is, in the absence of a proper verified information from the Bank of Ghana, and we haven't had that, rumor fills the space. And so people were afraid that this default, and this is a default, by the way, is with treasury bills. But it's not treasury bill. This is not treasury bill. This is a specific bill. It's called the Cocoa Bill. And it is a situation that has arisen between Cocoa Board and the Bank of Ghana that has to be resolved, but the banks have been caught in the middle of this.
Okay. Let's join Dr. Richmond Kwame Frimpong. He is an investment consultant joining us on phone for more on this. Doc, grateful that you could join us. So, in your practice, has this ever happened? And what do you foresee to be the interpretation of what is happening?
Right. Good evening. No, not the example you guys are giving. Again, I must say that we are still yet to verify if indeed it is the case. But from what you have just narrated, it's basically a mature bill that is supposed to be refunded or pay interest on maturity as instructed by the client. And for some reason, the client sees the payment in the account, and then in just a matter of minutes or hours or something, there is a reversal of that transaction. It's not something that happens because usually any purchase of any debt instrument like that thrives on trust and confidence, and particularly in the times we are in where we are navigating our way out of some challenges that the economy is facing. Many people are already not too confident about near zero risk investments, and this includes treasury bills and bonds and cocoa bills. And so it's a bit worrying, and I would be very glad if we can really delve deeper to really ascertain if it's the case. But we don't expect to see that's happening.
What could be the explanation for the reversal of the funds? We understand that over the years, Bank of Ghana pays these on behalf of the Cocoa Board. Is that what is happening, or because of the status of our economy now, there's no fund to engage in this, and that's why Bank of Ghana has decided, I won't do this?
Well, you will not be able to tell, but if it's a cocoa bill, then it's underwritten by the Cocoa Board. And so the Bank of Ghana issues that security on the back of maybe the Cocoa Board's guarantee. And so there may be a challenge, if it's true, there may be a challenge between the funds available in Cocoa Board's name and the bills that the funds are being underwritten by. And so the Bank of Ghana, particularly at this level of, or at this time, will not want to expose itself so much if it wants to control liquidity, or it wants to even manage inflation, or it wants to make sure that there is some control and some stability in the supply of money. And so before it issues such, it would want to see some guarantee or some underwriting from, say, the Cocoa Board. And so maybe if that kind of provision is not available, then the Bank of Ghana immediately it notices that would probably want to reverse until it is so certain and sure that that cover is up there. And so let's say there could be a Cocoa Board fixed deposit or something with the bank, and the central bank is looking forward to seeing that maybe Cocoa Board liquidates them and instruct the banks to use them to pay the matured bill. And so would not rather want to release funds on their own record so that the invest happens. So it's something that is unfolding, and we need to understand it. But naturally, cocoa bills are not supposed to have such complications. If they mature and they are promised some payment, those payments are paid. Unless there is an error, sometimes there could be an error of credit. And if there is an error of credit, they need to be debited to reverse that error. But other than that, cocoa bills are fairly safe.
Okay. So if I'm a customer and I'm expecting that my what I bought, the bill I bought, has matured and therefore I'll be credited, and I was duly credited and the money has gone off, what are the options available to me?
I think that you should be calm, and you see, you might have bought it from, say, a fund manager or a brokerage house or maybe a primary dealing bank, and whichever way you bought it. For a security like that, there is an account that holds it, all security. That account is called the Central Securities Depository, the CSD. And so if it's about interest payment, immediately the maturity is done. It is an interest payment, or even if it's a refund, that comes into your account. In this particular example you are citing, you are saying that it was credited into the regular account and then reversed on the instruction of a rollover. So for the individual, you just check your CSD account to verify if that reversal is sitting in there with the principal and the interest. And then if it's been rolled over
on what rate has the rollover been done. So you can verify that security as long as it sits in your CSD. If it sits there, then you are fairly safe. But if you check your CSD and it's not there, and also the payment on your account has to be reversed, that is when we could probably be worried. Okay. But in the meantime, it's important to double check. If it's still sitting in your CSD, then I think you shouldn't be worried.
All right. Grateful. But you are not a lawyer, but you understand the banking practice. If someone takes money away from my account without my knowledge, can I sue?
Too early. Too early to see. So if it's an error, maybe it's a credit error, it's a debit error, anything it might be.
No, on this statement we saw, they've written roll over, of Cocoa Board bill. So it means that his investment has been rolled over without his consent.
Well, that can call for some kind of legal action. But I think there is time to understand what has happened. And until you do that, it will be premature to just take it up legally. Remember, it will come at a cost, however. And so I think at this stage, what is required is being calm to understand what really is happening. Okay. So that if you can ascertain that indeed it is against your instruction, then you can take some advice.
Okay. All right. Grateful. Richmond Kwame from Point is an investment consultant, editor and head of Political Desk. Evans Mensah is still here with me. So Evans, you listen to him. Your final concluding words.
I mean, so another thing that if you speak to those affected, they're worried about is, okay, so they don't even know the rollover. Is it at the same interest that they first sign on to the investment with? And people are confused there. There are some who are actually telling us that they fear that the new interest rate, the rollover interest rate, is not the same as they sign on, and so the terms of the cocoa bills they fear have been changed without their knowledge. They were not consulted. Obviously, some clarity, some form of a statement is urgently required from the Bank of Ghana in particular, or from Cocoa Board on this.
Grateful to you. That's Evans Mensah. He's head of Political Desk here at George.